And welcome back to our Trekyards mission briefing. We are looking at ships from all corners of the sci-fi Trekverse, from canon, not canon, Star Trek Online, video games, novels, comics, everything under the proverbial Star Trek sun. Hi, Stuart.
Hi.
What are we doing today? And are you excited about a ship? Because we're ship guys.
I am. This is actually really cool. First time I've seen this ship. This is the Carolina class Battleship, and it's done by Demon Renegade Studios.
Which we looked at previously with a great shark-looking ship. Everyone seemed to love, which was awesome because we loved it too.
Mm-hmm.
They have a couple of cool designs. So yeah, this is also the first time I've seen it pretty much, bar just saving it quick. So that's a great ship to look at. So what? First impressions, Stuart. I love throwing stuff at you and saying, Stuart, what do you think?
I know you do, and you do it all the time.
I know.
I think it's, like I said, I think it's super cool. It's got some design elements that we're going to pick apart, I'm sure.
Yep.
It's a hodgepodge of ship designs. There's Excelsior here, Sovereign, Oberth, Vengeance.
Phase 2?
Phase 2, yeah. Refit for sure. So there's a lot to look at. Overall, it's a cool looking ship. I love the bulked up nacelles and the two sets of refit style chiller grills and stuff. So I like it. I like it. But there are visual aspects that are definitely a hodgepodge of other ships.
Yeah, my first reaction was, ooh, that's different, but in a familiar way. I love seeing these shapes being redone. This isn't a kit bash. That's the thing. This is a reintegration of design elements. Because everything's different. It's just stylistically taking pieces from other ships.
Yes.
Now I'll give you one bit of information, because then these are taken from the chap's website, which you should definitely look at, and you can see it. It's Demon Renegade Studios. Please do check it out. This scale. Can you tell what the scale you think may be? I would not have said the scale that it is until I realised the one detail that gives it away. But what do you think scale-wise?
Well, I would say the detail that gives it away is the refit chiller grills. They're probably the same size as the refit. So that makes this ship like 3 times the size of a refit. So it's a big ship. It's a battleship. I would say sovereign size-ish.
Bigger.
Really?
She's a big ship. I mean, look at the... Yeah, you're absolutely... Well, I would have said based on the bridge. That bridge dome is teeny. And there's 2 impulse crystals either side of the impulse drive. This ship is 825 meters long.
Wow.
So almost 3 times the size of a Connie. You got that absolutely right for the reef anyway. Really, yeah. This is a big ship. Yeah.
Cool. Well, it's a battleship. That's what they're for. I mean, this one's named the Arizona. As we know, the Arizona was one sunk at Pearl Harbor and is still there.
Ooh.
So, yeah. I dig the size. I think it's fine. I mean, it's more of a refit era, like movie era style battleship, which I think is an excellent idea. And I like it. I'm very
Well, let's keep going through pictures. There aren't specific close-ups, but there are other views. The next picture is a bottom view, and I think this is where the Sovereign comes in, very much so. That way the bottom part is, it's very much integrated like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is like a Sovereign and an Excelsior got it on one day, because but look at those, look at the struts. They're very clearly the Oberth struts, like the Grissom. Especially from the last picture. If you go to the last picture and look, it's the same detailing.
Well, I haven't looked at the Oberth recently, so I wouldn't be able to say, but nice, good catch.
I'm currently writing a script on the Oberth, so...
For me, it looked like the Premonition, if you recall the Sovereign that's different, which I'm guessing must have been inspiration as well, because the way it connects is quite different. I've always liked that it's strange how subtle things are different. In the Franklin, it's got an over saucer, stepped grill. The Excelsior's got an under stepped grill, sort of. What does that do? I don't know, but it looks really... it just looks good. I think there's probably a reason for that one, because the Excelsior was more thought out. But this view makes it seem a lot simpler than I think it is. It makes it feel super functional. Although no forward torpedo launchers. I think.
That are visible.
They're
There might be
visible.
one. There might be one beneath the deflector dish. There's a black element. That could possibly be one.
Yeah, if you zoom in to the pixels, you can see a little grey in between the two black spots. So yes. Would this have been a good situation, a good excuse to turn the lower sensor dome, those 4 components that come out, into torpedo launchers? So you have side-facing, forward-facing. I mean, torpedoes are self-guided. You can shoot them from any direction. They'll redirect. Would that have been a good time to think to make those a torpedo bay?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay.
And then that holds true to the battleship idea as well, that they could fire out the sides.
Yeah, yeah. You can strafing run them just as you just go by phases. They just fire. Yeah. Actually, I'm surprised Trek doesn't use that as much as it could.
Yeah. So if we go to the next picture, this is a shot of it from the back up. Here you see a lot of Excelsior elements.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just the upsized rear shuttle bay looks so huge. I think that door needs to be shrunk down and more, finessing done there, more integrating. I think just upsizing that the way they did is kind of a mistake, personally. I don't know if this is necessarily a shuttle bay in this one because there's 1 and 2 now labeled up there, but
yeah, this is the most higgledy-piggledy angle.
Higgledy-piggledy? Is that what we just said?
Yeah, is that not an expression in Canada?
I've heard it. I've heard my parents use it when I was younger, but...
So there you go. They got it from us, and you use that in everyday language. Stuart. Oh, this episode of Game of Thrones was higgledy-piggledy.
This Trekyards episode is higgledy-piggledy.
Wow. No, what I see in this view... If you think back to a really quite popular episode we did on the Excalibur class, that big fan battleship, the way the aft goes down, this is very, very similar. I think clearly inspiration taken. Battleship, the TMP version of the Excalibur. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I love the detailing on the front of the nacelles, the veins that stick out.
Yeah,
I really like that. I think that'd be actually a cool addition to some of the other nacelles we've seen, even the refit style. I think that would be kind of a cool retro, new take on the refit. I'm not a fan of the rear of the nacelle personally. It's missing something, and the little fin you got on the bottom there almost seems backwards, and it shouldn't be on the bottom. It should be on the side. I don't know. There's things about this ship. This ship could be taken by us, Trekyards, and Trekyardsified. We've said this before about other ships. Make subtle little changes and make it just that much better.
It's like a 75% there.
Yeah, not insulting the guy that made it. I mean, he did a fantastic job, but
yeah,
just for our trained eye, we see things that could just use a little bit of tweaking.
Well, we see things as in era specifically. So we see this bay, and we see the inside of this bay being as big as it really would be. We see it as an aircraft hangar size, and we're like, oh damn, those doors are too impractically big. If that was me, I would probably put a slice in the middle to make it 2 different bays for different reasons. Like one is maybe outgoing, one's ingoing. It doesn't make sense, but whatever. And then the doors are different, so it's like 2 halves of a bay, and then bring the cowling really close up. So it's just a slither of door, but still have the whole thing be a big bay, but you need to split it into different zones and such. Because it makes sense to a whole aircraft carrier hangar door thing, and then you've got those 2 big other bays at the top, Miranda style. I do like the.
I was going to say the dual impulse crystals on each impulse engine are a nice touch. I like that look, but I think they should have done those impulse engines a bit differently as well. I mean, more like the B, where they kind of come straight out with extra module on the Enterprise B. Instead of fitting to the curve of the saucer like that, and have 2 stepped, have one upper and smaller lower right underneath. Hence why there's 2 crystals. That almost looks too simple there with just the one on each side and text and contoured the same as the saucer. It's almost too simplistic. Not a lot of thought was put there.
And it's amazing how we say simplicity is the hallmark of design, but at the same token, we're seeing impulse drives, and we're saying, well, is that big enough for the ship? I don't think those are big enough impulse drives at all. I mean, the Enterprise B is saying, right, this next step is these impulse drives to get this extra speed, And here this battleship is saying, yeah, we just need pretty minimal impulse. I mean, I would rather have a maneuverable ship. I'd rather counteract the, look how huge we are with, look how many more impulse drives we have.
And the thing that would fix that is to put impulse engines in the back of the struts, very much like Star Trek Online. On this design would work particularly well, or even on the front of the nacelle where those pieces come out. Can you imagine if those were impulse engines? That'd
be radical. That
would be very cool, and you could also slide them in when you don't need them.
Well, yeah, exactly. No, I was going to ask you when you mentioned that, but I forgot. I mean, what do you think the purpose of those is? Is that just venting gas? I guess is the implication. But do you think they slide in? Because if they did slide out, and became impulse engines, then you got main impulse, then emergency impulse. You can really do.
I personally don't think that those slide in. To me, they just look like racing fins, just to make it look cool. Makes it go faster if have racing fins, even if they're not impulse engines. So.
There's a fins. Oh yeah, it's got a cowling at the front and then fins on the back, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see. I thought it was just a cowling that came out. Oh, okay, I see. Huh. Okay. Cool. But it's got two little fins on top of the front shuttle bay doors, which are like the Enterprise B. It's tricky when a ship is this big because the scale means that you can't see little details because they shouldn't be little details, which is great that they've made it this big. But what do you put in between these two zones? What do you put in between the shuttle bays and the shuttle bay?
See, and that whole back spine looks like an Excelsior secondary hull, but upside down.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah. Which is just
It almost works.
Yeah. Needs a little more attention to detail, I think.
See, I wish it had you make the shuttle bays at the top, the 1 and 2, a little bit thinner or less wide. You had a neck spine like the refit has to go down, and you put after-pier launchers inside that. And it would break up the shapes a bit.
Mm-hmm. You know what else they would have done would really improve the look for me is the chiller grills on the inner side there. I like them. I really do. But I think the top one should be 30-40% longer, so it's got kind of a stepped look. I think other than that, keep them in line at the front with the one facing this way, one facing this way, but just make the top one a little bit longer. I think would have improved the look a lot, and I would have really dug that. So
that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought you'd say that. I don't know why, but that's interesting. It's kind of like it's like doubled up coils. Like this thing needs literally just 2 sets of coils.
Yeah. Top
and bottom. But I like your idea of having primary coils, secondary coils. They reinforce each other, but rely on the top. Yeah. But the next view is the aft view, and it gives you the aft view. Yeah, those back fins are unnecessary. And strange.
Also, the placement of the Starfleet pennant on the nacelles is very, very odd. On the refit, it didn't have one there for obvious reasons, so I don't know if we really needed one.
Yeah.
But again, make that top chiller grill longer. I think that would really look cool.
Yeah.
But those are definitely Oberth class struts for the nacelles, just hugified. Same detail and everything, so.
Yeah, why not? I think you're right. I see 2 lower torpedo launchers at the bottom of that huge curve. And again, details upon details. I mean, it's just so many. I have no clue what any of that stuff is. I'm assuming some of it's hatches for cargo. I mean, it's so big. I'm assuming this has also got some level of military, Makos, if they still exist, or some sort of military force in this ship. Because there isn't enough detail in the ship to imply to me that you don't need a standard crew to operate it. Like, if there was extra turrets, if there was all this extra stuff, it'd be like, you need more crew. But I feel like it's just a bigger ship they can do the same crew. And if it's in a big fighter ship, okay, there you go, that's where the crew's going. But the amount of people you can fit into the ship, maybe it's hugely longer mission profiles, or middle of, let's say it was middle of Klingon space, it has to have the extra resources that other ships just can't. You have 3 Mirandas, they haven't got enough space for extra cargo, for extra fuel and resources. This ship comes in, it's got all that stuff. It's got 300% capacity in terms of resources. Maybe that's the function of such a big secondary hull. Because I'm sure you could like shrink that up and make it more maneuverable.
Either that, or I mean, this thing for its size and for its designation, like a battleship almost, is very lacking in visible firepower. Even it does have quite a few phaser turrets on the saucer, but it could even act like a colony ship to help colonize, a small, get a colony established. I mean, look at all the room in that secondary hull. A lot of people, a lot of equipment could be stored in there. So I don't see why not. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's like the equation and the question we ask about the phasers. A Type 1 can already stun an entire room, can kill people, can damage a large portion of a building. They say that in TOS. Why need a phaser 2? Why need a phaser rifle? Well, it's just for range or power. If you can do anything already, why need something bigger? If a Defiant can single-handedly punch through and destroy ships, and it's the size of a Nova, it's a small science. Like, it's so much punch in a small bundle. Starfleet's never gone with these huge, massive warships. The Enterprise E was only slightly longer than the D. It wasn't a step above. It was actually, in fact, smaller. It was more maneuverable. So to go really farther above, unless you're throwing like 17 dozen fighter squadrons, whatever, into the ship, what is that extra space used for? So I think, colony or fleet support, is going to be very useful. But I agree, more weapons is needed. I mean, you can see on this aft view those little red boxes. That's where the phasable turrets are, I assume. They're showing the phasers. The odd placement for sure, but otherwise there's not that many visible weapons. But if they are the weapons, then there is lots on the bottom of the hull.
Yeah.
And that would be, a decent amount of weapons for what it is.
Yeah, I never considered that those might be phasers, but you're right. Usually the yellow outlined with red is one of the phaser
my assumption is that that's them. Yeah.
Good call on that one.
But let's end on the first picture, because in fact it brings us back to then and I want to ask about this before, the nacelle caps, or lack thereof. What do you think about that? That's very different, actually.
I like it, actually. I think that would have looked kind of cool on the refit, personally, because we went from having Bizarre collectors to none, and then back to Bizarre collectors. It's just kind of a weird iterative step.
Yeah.
This at least implies there's something going on in there. I don't mind the blue color here in this case, but this again is very much like the JJ Vengeance.
Right. Now I understand where you're going with
like
that earlier. Yeah.
So that's why I said Vengeance at first, because that's one thing I noticed right away is the front of those nacelles.
Yeah.
And I like it personally. I think again, changing the refit just a slightly bit, just to kind of do an updated refit version with that in the front and those pop-out vanes or the fins would look really cool. I'm sure Andrew Probert, if he heard me, would want to kick me in the nuts, but I don't know.
Yeah. I think if they were made orange, or more orangey red, to continue the evolution of NX to Connie to D and C, I think that would have been a more natural step, because it's in a housing, but it's still got glow elements. I think that would have been it wouldn't necessarily work with the color palette, but I think evolutionary wise that would fit better. But yeah, I mean, that's a great point. Obviously, we can see the Excelsior detail at the back there with the whatever the thing is at the back. Who knows?
Yeah.
And yeah, you can see all those little single turrets. I mean, if those red bits are phaser ball turrets, single turrets, then this saucer is absolutely caked with them. I don't know if they are.
Those aren't, because on the refit, they do have the little squares.
Yeah, I thought they weren't.
But these, that's a good point, actually. I don't know.
If they were, though,
that'd be impressively kick-ass.
Yes, and it makes sense for a ship this size. And the fact they're single turrets and heavy firing arc, absolutely, sign me up.
The fact that it is 7 standard dual phaser turrets on the top, as it is pretty impressive. So I kind of take back what I said about not being heavily armed. I mean, we can't really see any photon tubes per se. So I mean, it looks like there might be some photon tubes right above the registry.
Ooh, that's interesting. That'd be cool. I'd buy that. Yeah.
It could also be just the registry light, but then again, the USS Arizona is lit up with no visible light, so I don't know. Anyway, that's it for this look at the Carolina class battleship. A cool ship for sure, but I would like to actually make some changes myself and see what I could come up with on this. But no offense to the designer. I mean, it's great, but I just see things that I would like to see improved personally.
And once again, thank you and well done to Demon Renegade Studios for another awesome design. We have a couple more in the pipeline that I picked out. I think you'll really like, and that honestly I haven't seen this sort of thing before. And I love seeing different designs. That's obviously why we do the show. So thank you, well done. And if you want to support this show to look at more ships, both canon, non-canon, and awesome fan ones like this, there are a couple of great ways. Either support us on Patreon, which is a monthly donation service. It's like a magazine subscription show or service, like you always say, Stuart. It's a little bit each month to help keep the lights on, help us pay the bills, and help us just ensure we can give the time to make these many shows a week, and also build it up and get more guests and plan trips and all that stuff. Or a one-time donation at Trekyards.com, our website. Big donate button. You put in what you want to give us 20, 30, 50, 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 bucks. It's up to you. All appreciated.
And red alert, if you're looking down below and you see the red subscribe button, that means you have not subscribed to Trekyards. Please click that and do that.
What does it mean if I just see a wooden desk? Have I clicked the subscribe button or not?
That means you're being too literal. Anyway, click the subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Also, the little bell notification. If you are subscribed, you might want to click that as well so you don't miss any of our uploads, as it'll tell you every time we do that. And also, give us a like for the video, because that helps us out and helps you out as well. And, lets YouTube do its thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, guys, until next time and another mission briefing or any other Trekyards episode that you wish to view. Yeah. I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Connor Hans.
We'll see you in the future.
Bye, guys.